Hi, everybody. I'm Super Julie Braun, and I am the founder and CEO of superinterns.com. And today we're going to learn how to turn your internship into a full-time job, which is so important for everyone out there who's doing an internship or considering doing an internship. It's pretty important because interns and career seekers, they need to be here. We hope that, if you like what you hear, you're going to message out to your friends on Twitter and Facebook, because if you want to figure out how to leverage that internship, then this is the show for you. And if you want a virtual internship, please go to superinterns.com and click on Get a Virtual Internship. And Teak, who is behind the scenes, is putting up that link right now. In the lower right-hand corner, you will see some little hands, and those are the prop hands. And so when you want to give props and when you like what you hear us say, you could just click on that. Like right now, I'm going to give props over to Chris. I'll give props over to Adam. But that's how that works. You can just click on those hands and you can let people know you like what that person's saying. And of course, you can share on Twitter and Facebook, and we appreciate that. And don't forget to leave us comments or ask us questions throughout the show, and we'll get right with you. Okay, everybody. So here we go. I'd like to introduce my two co-hosts. First of all, I've got Chris. And Chris, right now, you're this way on my screen, but you might be that way. But I'm going to say you're this way. So Christopher Anderson, who is the general manager at Acceptance Now from Rent-A-Center. And I also have below me, which I hope you're right underneath me, Adam, or maybe you're over this way. I'm not sure. But anyway, Adam Condi, who is the strategic HR professional at a company called Conservice. So, Teak, if you could please put up their website so people can go find out where they work and all of that, that would be great. And so, Chris, why don't you just give a quick lowdown? Where are you calling from? And what do you do as a general manager? Just real short and sweet.
Well, I'm calling in from Beaumont, Texas, my home in Beaumont, Texas, which is, for those of you who aren't from Texas, maybe an hour away from Houston, an hour east, right close to the Louisiana border. I'm not sure if you guys heard, but there's been a lot of flooding. I know it's off subject, but there's been a lot of flooding in this area, so that can kind of help you to understand where I am geographically. But basically, what I do as a general manager with Rent-A-Center, I'm pretty sure everybody's heard of Rent-A-Center, but not everybody's heard of Acceptance Now. And what we do, we're a separate division from Rent-A-Center, and we operate inside of large retailers such as Conn's, Home Plus, Rooms to Go, Bell's Furniture, etc., etc. And we pretty much give customers that don't have any credit or don't have that great of credit an additional financing option, because our approvals aren't based on credit, but rather their residency and their employment information. But what I do there is I just generally oversee the Baytown location business. I'm responsible for all of the numbers. I'm responsible for all of the inventory. I'm responsible for all of the craziness that goes on with our accounts. If everything goes, I go down with it.
Okay, awesome. And then Adam, what about you? Where are you calling from? And just a quick little synopsis of what you do at Conservice as an HR professional.
Yeah, so I'm calling in from Logan, Utah. We're in the most northern part of Utah, about 20 miles away from the Idaho border. And in my position, I'm a promotions manager. So anytime anyone wants a promotion or positions open up that are considered advancement into leadership, I'm the one that does all the interviews, makes the selection, and then works with those who don't get the promotion. And I do a lot of career coaching with them in order to make them a better applicant so that the next time they're they're going for promotion.
Okay, awesome.
They're more qualified.
All right, well,
for that
let's get started with our big idea tonight. And that really is how to turn your internship into a full-time job. And I took a little, I did a little drawing here for everybody. So I'm going to kind of use this to demonstrate. There, I'll put another piece of paper behind it. How to demonstrate for anyone out there that's thinking to themselves, I want to work for, I don't know, pick a company besides Google. So let's say you pick a company that you really admire, you really like them, you really want to work for them someday. So the very first step is to pick and choose your ideal company. And you may have 20 of these. You may have a list of 20 ideal companies. And from that, you are going to offer to intern for them. So you're going to go there and say, hey, I want to intern for you. And whether it's paid or unpaid, don't let that be your goal. Don't let the money be your goal first. If you just want to get your foot in the door at your ideal company, talk to them about doing an internship. And they may need some convincing, by the way. They might say, well, we don't really do internships. And you can say, that's okay, because I'm going to take all of the thinking out of it for you. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to provide you both an outline of the timing, the action, and the results. So here are the things I'm going to do for you. Here's when I'm going to do them. Here are all the activities, and here are the deliverables. And then also give them a written agreement. Take all of that guesswork out of it, because sometimes companies, when they don't do internships, it's because they're worried from a legal perspective. And they may not have a legal agreement that's available to them, or they may not even think about it. So if you walk in with an agreement in your hand saying, I'm going to sign this, I'm going to do these activities, the timing, the action, and the results. So TAR, timing, action, results. I'm going to do these things for you in this time frame to work here as an intern at my ideal company. Now, when you get your foot in the door, here's what will happen. You're going to be able to show them your talents, your creativity, your communication, and your leadership skills. You're going to become indispensable to them. And they're going to be scratching their head saying, how did we get this person to intern for us? We are so lucky. And over the course of time, you're going to change that internship and start talking to them about a permanent position. So that's the big idea tonight. And we're leading off with this because we want you guys to be thinking this way. Because very often people think, oh, an internship doesn't turn into a job. Very often it does. So Chris, let's start with you since Adam fell off. Chris, tell me, what do you think about that idea?
Well, you were literally snatching the thoughts out of my mind while you were expressing your idea. That's the best. That's really the best way I can put it is it gets your foot in the door. Because a lot of times it's really tough to get into great companies. Then there's competition on top of that. What better way to get inside of a great company like Microsoft or Apple or Google rather than just offering your services and they don't even have to pay for it. On top of that, like you said, you take the guesswork out of it. Hey, I already got all this wrote down. Here you go. All you got to do is sign it. I'll sign and I'll get to work. You know what I mean? Also, it can separate you from the competition as well, because a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people, what do? They fill out the app, wait on somebody to call them. That's it. That's all they do. You go to their front door. Hey, I want an intern for you. Here's the internship agreement. Let's go. Let me start the day. Let me do whatever I can for you. So it's a really great idea. Really great idea. So.
Awesome. And then Adam, you kind of dropped off. You were in and out, so I don't know if you saw this. Okay, good.
Yeah,
so this is the big idea. So as an HR professional, if somebody came to you and said, I want to intern for your company. I'm going to do whatever it takes. Here's an outline of what I would do for you. Here's the timing, the action, and the results, the deliverables that you can expect from me. And here's an agreement. What would happen at your company? Because you work for a bigger company. And the place where I think this is challenging is at a bigger company because they have all these established rules and all of that kind of stuff. But Adam, what would you think of that individual that came to you with that idea?
Yeah, I absolutely love it because first and foremost, it shows initiative. It shows that these people are willing to do what it takes to get what they want. And that tells me that if they work for my company and I give them a specific plan of what I want them to do, they're going to take the initiative to do it. Not only do it, but also go above and beyond. I think one of the keys with that is showing a company what you can do for them and making them realize that they need you. Because up until then, they haven't had you, so they don't know what they're missing. So I think showing them on paper, showing them what they're missing out because you don't work for them is key. Giving them that evidence of here's how I'm going to help you. They almost can't say no.
That is such a great point that you bring up, both the initiative factor and I think also showing them what you can do. Well, they've never had you before. You know, it might be a brand new position that they've never even thought that they needed. They may not know. So Chris, in your business, somebody might walk in the door and say, hey, I want to do an internship. I want to be a concierge service for the company. And you might be scratching your head saying, concierge service, we've never had that before. And then if they, show you and demonstrate to you in their time, action, and results, okay, here's what I'm going to do. Here's going to be my action. Here's the timing that I think it's going to take. And here are the results that you can expect. Wouldn't you want that person to go ahead and do whatever it is? I mean, I'm just thinking, what's to lose?
Absolutely. Absolutely. 100%. I really, really wish something like that would happen, honestly. But like I said, most people, they just fill out the app, wait on the recruiter to call. I got this ambitious, on fire person. Hey, man, let me get in here and show you what I can do. They're hungry. They're ready to go after it. Oh, yeah, come on in. Come on. I'll find something for you to do. Come on in. So, absolutely.
Okay, great. So Adam is trying to get back in again. I have a feeling that he's going to be dropping off a few times here. Hopefully we'll be able to get him to come on and stay on for a while. But let's, by the way, Teak is going to put up a really awesome link. And this is advice on how to go from intern to colleague. And it's the 3 secrets for landing a full-time gig. I love this link. I think it is really, really powerful. So if you have a chance, click on it, save it, maybe watch the show, and then go look at it later. But I think it's really a great example of some things that you can and should be doing. So now I'm going to invite in our spotlight guest, who is Michael Connor. And Michael Connor is our web design wizard at superinterns.com. Michael, there you go. I'm going to let you in, Michael. Now let's see. And what Michael does, he's our web design wizard at superinterns.com. Hey, Michael.
Hi, how's it going?
Hey, good. You got right in. So, Michael, can you share with everybody a little bit about where are you calling from and what does a web design wizard do for superinterns.com?
I'm based here in Garland, Texas. I'm originally from Oklahoma, though. The big thing is, as a web design wizard, we make sure the website looks good and, more importantly, that it works.
Excellent. So, Michael, before tonight, I'm just wondering, did you ever think about using your internship to really leverage a job at the ideal company that you wanted to work for? Have you ever really thought about that?
Absolutely. I've definitely given that thought. I I'm willing to take any opportunity I can to get experience to make myself look better for any company. Even I want to get out there. I want to work.
Mm-hmm. And I have to say, you're more mature than the typical intern. Interns come to us very often. They're 18 to 22 years old. They're usually starting out in college and that sort of thing. But then we have a whole slew of people who work with us who are 22 to 88. And you fall somewhere in there, Michael. Tell everybody a little bit about what you were doing before you started doing, working with us at superinterns.com.
Well, beforehand, I was just working on my degree as a software developer at SNHU.
Mm-hmm.
And I was noticing that I was getting close to finishing my degree. So I went out hunting jobs because I don't want to get out with my degree and spend, I don't know, a year, 6 months, no career, just sitting on my butt with a fiance. That
Right.
looks bad. It's terrible.
Right. I understand. So you had kind of the pressure of, I've got to get into my career. How am I going to do it? And one of the ways was to do an internship.
Mhm.
So, Michael, do you have any questions for Chris?
Actually, yes, I do. How did you leverage your internship into a full-time career?
Well, when I was at Super Interns, I was in the HR department. And although I'm not in the HR department now, being a general manager does require several HR skills that I learned while I was there. And I believe that you have to have some kind of HR skill as a general manager if you want to be an effective one. Now, I mean, you can be one without it, but a lot of times it doesn't end too well for you a lot of times. So when I was at superinterns.com, I learned the main thing I learned was how to communicate effectively with the 3 big steps, which I remember them, trust me, but I'm not going to go into detail because I know we got time. But I learned how to communicate effectively. I learned to act first and apologize later. That's a big one that I learned as well. I also learned to motivate people and manage tasks because people are people. You can try to manage them, but I'd much rather manage the tasks and motivate the people to do them. I learned how to delegate effectively. I definitely learned this from superinterns.com, and it still serves me to this day. I also learned how to have result-based conversations. SJ is humongous on results, and I learned that from her. And the list could go on and on and on, but the combination of these skills is what ultimately helped me to land that first promotion and receive another promotion and receive another promotion. So,
You got like 3 promotions in a matter, or 2 or 3 promotions in a matter of like a year.
and it was all because of the skills I learned here at superinterns.com.
Well, I remember we were doing some career coaching too. And you were
Yes,
asking
ma'am.
me, what should I do and how should I do this? And through some of the career coaching, that really helped you net a higher level position. I mean, you're a general manager now. I mean, that to me is so awesome when I think that you were an intern, 2 years ago?
Yep, approaching 2 years. Yes, ma'am.
So not even 2 years ago, 18 months ago, you were an intern, and now you are a general manager. You've got people that report to you. You've got money that you're responsible for. How much revenue, Chris, are you responsible for? Can you share that?
Absolutely. In a given month, anywhere from 100,000 to about 130,000.
100 to 140 grand. Wow.
Yep.
So in a year, that's over $1 million that you're responsible for.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. That is so impressive. So anyway, that's an awesome story. Thank you so much for sharing it. Chris, did you have any questions for Adam? And Adam, I'm glad we can see you again.
Yeah, I'm back.
Yeah, I thought you were gone, Adam. Yeah, but Adam, what about you though? How did you utilize your internship to get a full-time job? What did you do?
Yeah, so my internship was absolutely key in me getting my job. The town I live in, it is a college town, so there's a lot of people applying at the place that I work who have very similar education as I do. Some have the exact education from the same professors and everything. And so I actually did ask my supervisor after I was hired. I asked him, I said, why me? What did I do so that I can make sure to keep doing that? And they said it was your experience. We had a lot of people all with the exact same degree. What set you apart is you had real world HR experience. And that's rare, especially in HR. And so the skills that I bring, I had that balance between education and real world experience. And for my employer, they just couldn't pass that up. And that's why I was hired over, the other 5 or 6 candidates who were applying.
Now, Adam, when you say 5 or 6 candidates, how many other people do you think actually applied for that job? Because when you end up with candidates, there's already been a selection process. They've already kind of,
Exactly.
thinned the herd. They've already said, no, you're not good enough. They've kind of gone through all of that. So where do you think in this position did it start to end up with you getting the job?
Yeah, and when I say 5 or 6 candidates, that's the people who were interviewed and being considered. That we actually went through 2 rounds of interviews. So 5 or 6 people made it through 2 rounds of interviews.
Yeah.
Probably from the very beginning, the application process, anywhere between 30 to 40 people put their application in.
That's got to make you feel very proud that
It does.
you were stepping over the dead bodies of your competition.
And a huge shout out to SJ and superinterns.com, because that's where I got my experience from, is, SJ. And Chris was actually the person who recruited me. So the people that SJ brings in to Chris was my first contact. So I'm ecstatic to be here, especially with who I'm here today. So yeah, I can't say enough about internships, but especially SJ and superinterns.com.
I had no idea.
Yeah,
I kind of thought that you guys were around the same time period, but we have so many teammates coming in and out of our business. It's hard to keep track when. I always remember people, but I don't necessarily remember, was it a year ago or 5 years ago? But wow, that's really amazing. Now, Teek just put up another really fantastic link. And this one is from lifehack.org, and it's turn your internship into a full-time job. There's some more great advice there. And I think there's even maybe a infographic that's with that. So I really like that one too. Well, let's move on to our next big idea, and that's expressing your goals. So you guys might find this to be unique or maybe not, but in a year, I can have 300, maybe 400 people come into our business. And in a year, I will have one person that approaches me about a paid position. One out of hundreds. And I think what they'll say usually is, what can I do to get a paid position? And then, I have to kind of think, well, okay, what could they do? Because we live in a world where you have to really show your value in to the company. And you have to demonstrate your dollar value. So in other words, you have to be able to say, I'm going to help your company make $100,000 or $250,000 in the next year. In turn, I would like for you to make me a full-time employee, pay me a very nice salary, give me benefits, along with that. So, Adam, does what I'm saying make sense to you, or does it sound totally out of balance? Adam?
Hello?
Hi, did you hear what I said?
Say it one more time.
Yeah.
You're cutting out.
I just asked if it makes sense to you that employers now are always looking for dollar value in employees. And does it make
Oh,
sense
absolutely.
if someone comes to you, if someone came to me and said, hey, I'm going to help you make $100,000 in the next year, and I want to get a full-time job. I want to have a paid position. I want to have a great title. I want to have benefits. But if someone came to me with that number, I would be very likely to hire them. So Adam, can you expand on that a little bit? Can you hear me?
Yeah, absolutely. Specifics are key. The more specific you can be in everything, I mean, resumes, interviews, when you're answering questions, talking to potential employers, saying why they should hire you, the more specific you can be and the more calculated you can be, the better. Because then you can, you show them that you've put in the time to do the research and look into the company and your role with the company. Mm-hmm. And if you can say, I know your company, I know what you do and how I can help you, and here's not only how I can help you, but how much I can help you. Employers, HR, we love specifics. Everything documented, numbers, we love specifics. So the more specific, the better.
Great. Do you have any questions for anybody else?
You're cutting in and out.
Oh, sorry. Adam, did you have a question for anyone else? Maybe Michael? Am I only cutting out to Adam, or am I cutting out to everyone?
I can hear you fine.
Okay, so it's just Adam. Teek, can you just ask Adam if he has any questions, and then meanwhile we'll move on to Michael. Michael, what are your thoughts on now that you know what employers are looking for? What's your next conversation going to be with an employer?
Well, the big thing is I'm going to sell myself to the employer. I'm going to convince them that I am exactly what they need, whether they know it or not. As simple as that. There's not much more to it.
That's great. I love that. End of story.
Yep. Just sell myself. Convince them I'm exactly what they need.
Did you have any questions for anybody? Maybe Adam or Chris?
Actually, I did. Christopher, do you have any insights on the topic?
Absolutely. Companies are here to make money. I'm gonna let that sink in for a millisecond. Okay. So if you have a plan to help the company make even more money than they were already making without you, it's a no-brainer. Come on in. They're gonna bring you in definitely. And it was also like Adam was saying, you need to be specific and you need to have the results that you're gonna help the company accomplish. And just to give a little bit of color, like I told you earlier, I pretty much am responsible for helping the company make about anywhere from $100,000 to $140,000 a month. Pretty much, like SJ said, that's over $1 million a year. And to my company, that makes me pretty valuable, honestly. How do I know? Well, I recently told, you remember Brad, SJ. I recently told Brad that I was interested in the district manager spot. But that means I'd have to leave the region and therefore leave Brad. Brad told my regional director, and within one day, I was automatically put in a district manager training development plan in the same region, in the same district, because they didn't want me to leave. It's as simple as
that. That is awesome. That's awesome. So they responded to your desire to get a promotion and to move into a different region, and they've responded by saying, "Oh, no, we'll give you a promotion. We'll get you into a training program here, and we're going to maybe give you some more sugar. We'll pay you a little more money. We'll give you some more benefits, that sort of thing. Chris, we don't want you to leave." That's what happened, right, Chris? Am I getting that right?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Right. Nail on the head. Nail
okay.
On the head.
And see, that's the thing. Companies don't have the luxury anymore to kind of say, "Oh, I just want to hire a bunch of people," and companies don't, especially companies that are startups or companies that are relatively small and they're trying to figure out how to grow, which is a lot of companies that we work with, they don't have the luxury of doling out money or, paying enormous salaries when they haven't maybe made a lot of money. Now, one thing to keep in mind is if you want to make $50,000, so let's say that's going to be your salary. It's going to be 50 grand. In order for you to make $50,000, the company is going to need to make 100. So understand, whatever your salary is, the company needs to double that. And that's because they're going to have to pay taxes. They've got to pay taxes. They've got to pay workman's comp insurance. They've got to pay for your benefits. They have all of these things. In addition to you, they've got to provide all of the tools that you use, all of their expenses, everything else. It is not free for a company to hire somebody and just pay them 50 grand and be like, okay, I'm done. That's not the way it works. So a company's already got to be making a nice chunk of change, and then you have to be able to say to them, I'm going to help you make even more, and that's how you're going to pay me. And if you take that thinking, and if you provide that to the employer, they will hire you, I would say pretty much every time. Hey, Adam, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. I think we lost you there for a second. So, Chris, is it time to do a survey?
Yes, guys, I do believe it is time for a survey. All you got to do is answer yes or no, okay?
So type in yes or no.
Now, wherever you are, have you made any friends in the HR department? It's a simple yes or no, guys.
Have you made friends with HR? And Teak is going to, I guess, put up the question so then we can refer to it. And Teak, by the way, he's behind the scenes guy. He's taking care of us here on our show, but he will let us know. We're going to check back in about 5 minutes to see what the results are. And now we're going to tell you why you want to make friends with HR. And every single person that has an internship, you should have somebody in human resources that you need to make friends with. So why don't we talk about that? Adam, do you have any thoughts?
I do. I'm going to make another corny joke. Started the show this way. I'm going to keep doing it. Human resources is very aptly named. What we are is we are human resources. I think it's important that employees use us as a resource. In my specific position, because I'm a promotions manager, I work with department heads, COOs, the CEO, all the leaders throughout the entire company. So anytime an employee wants to advance and work for a new supervisor, I already know that supervisor. I have a very good working relationship with them. And so a lot of employees will come to me and say, oh, I want to work on this team, but I don't know who the supervisor is. And if they come to me and tell me that, I can get them in contact with that supervisor and help them get to know the supervisor. And is this a person that I want to work with? Is it a person that I'm comfortable with? So the position that I'm in, I work with everybody in the company. So I have a lot of resources that I can help other people with. And the people who come to me and that I know, I'm going to go help them even more because I know them. So I think if you're not friends or comfortable with someone in HR, the first thing you should do tomorrow or Monday or whenever you start a job, go meet someone in HR.
Excellent advice. I could not agree with you more. Chris, Michael, did you have any thoughts on the topic?
Go ahead, Michael.
Oh.
Michael?
I like to think I'm friends with HR. I hope I am. But every HR person I've met, I've liked them.
Okay. in order to think strategically about human resources, now I'm not saying, you should be fake or you should buy them lunch because you are trying to work a situation. Although I'm sure if I bought Adam lunch, he would not say no. He would probably say thank you.
I would not say no.
Okay, so see, he would not say no. He would say yes then. The idea here is when you make friends with HR people, even if they're in your company for right now, they won't be forever. HR people are like any other position. They're going to move around to different companies. They're going to be able to get jobs elsewhere. And when they're at another company and they have already liked you, they've been your friend, they understand what your capabilities are, they think you're awesome, they enjoy you. Don't you think if they have a problem, they're going to pick up the phone and call you? So making friends with HR is one of the most direct lines to getting a job. And I'm always astonished that I'm going to air some dirty laundry here today. In our own team, I'm always astonished that our own teammates have not established a super strong relationship with their HR coordinator. I think it's a huge miss. I think it's a big mistake because all of our HR people are exceptional. We have great HR people here at superinterns.com. And if they're not great, they're not here for very long. And for the ones that are here, they are just top of their game. I mean, look, we've got both Chris and Adam. We're in human resources and they have really high, powerful, desirable jobs where they get to boss around a bunch of people. They're making the big bucks. They have big responsibilities. So this is what happens with HR people. Now, if someone was really nice to Chris and Chris was thinking, I need somebody who has management skills, they're a good salesperson, they can do this, they can do that, he would then be reaching out to somebody that he met here at superinterns.com back in the day. And he could offer up job opportunities to people that he worked with. Same thing with Adam. So make friends with your HR people in every aspect of your business because those are the people that have the key to the gateway to getting a job. And not just where you are, but for your future. I have so many HR friends and they have always called me when there's an opportunity. There's a reason why I made a lot of money in corporate America. And it wasn't because of my intelligence. It was because of my relationship building skills. So Michael, do you have a different idea now about how to leverage those relationships?
Absolutely. I might have to contact some of my HR friends here.
That's right. You should definitely and meet with them and talk to them about your goals and what you want to accomplish. Great idea. Chris, did you have any thoughts on the topic?
In my company, a lot of the HR duties are shifted over to the district manager and the regional director. However, I do believe that a good working relationship with both the district manager, the regional director, and the HR department goes back to what you were saying. If any of them leave and they have an issue and you have a good working relationship with them, then they will call you, So I guess regardless of who's actually doing the duties, you should have a good working relationship with people that can provide opportunities for you. So I agree with you 100% on what you said.
For sure. So if you just joined us, just to let you know, I'm Super Julie Braun, and I'm here with my two co-hosts. I've got one to my right and one down below me. We've got Christopher Anderson and Adam Condi. And then, of course, we've got to my diagonal. I hope you're there, Michael. Maybe you're the other way. I don't, again, I don't know because the cameras are all, wacky. But then we have our spotlight guest, which is Michael Connor. So let's check in with Teek. Teek, my question for you is, or actually Chris had asked it, wherever you are, have you made friends with HR? How many? 2 yeses and 1 no.
Ooh.
2 yeses and 1 no. And we've got 10 people on this call and only 3 people chimed in, which tells me that probably it's 2 yeses and 8 no's, right?
That's a horrible ratio.
I agree with
Horrible numbers.
We probably have 8 no's out there where they're like, I'm not friends with HR. I avoid them. They're probably thinking that human resources, the only time that they talk to human resources is when they're in trouble. And, and what if we're unsure? 1.5. Well, okay. Well, hopefully color me purple. I think that probably is, I think it's Renee. Very funny. But the idea is to make them your friends, get to know them, and then more importantly than anything else, stay in contact with them. I mean, Chris, I haven't seen you for what, like 18 months or 2 years now? It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still in contact with you. I'm still in contact with Adam. It's been probably just as long with Adam. So I'm still in contact, even though we don't talk every month. I'm still in contact with you guys. I still reach out to you. I hope you reach out to me whenever you have a challenge, or maybe you might want to hire superinterns.com to help you with your internship program at Rent-A-Center. But anyway, just wanted to throw that in there. You know, I'm subtle that way. All right.
Yeah. Yes.
So now, Michael, did you have a question maybe for Christopher or Adam?
Actually, both of them. How can someone be persistent when they may actually want to quit? Any ideas on how to stay motivated when things are tough and it feels like no one's taking them seriously?
Yeah, definitely. As we know in life, I was just talking about that roller coaster, that up and down thing that happens in life. And you're always gonna have good times, and you're always gonna have bad times. If you're breathing, that's gonna be the norm for you most of the time. But it's important to remember several things when you're facing adversity, whether it's in your job or whether it's in life in general. The main thing is to stay focused on the main goal. What is the main priority? What are you here to do? Just keep your eyes on the prize, basically. And I know everybody can understand that. I know everybody can relate to that, because staying focused on your main goal will help you to get through those bad times, and it'll bring you to the good times that are right behind them. Optimism is, I think optimism for some people is underrated, but to me, it's been one of the driving factors with me. When I faced bad times doing what I do now, I always had to remain positive and realize that this was only just a temporary point in time. You have to remain positive. You got to keep your head up. You can't beat yourself up. Yeah, you're gonna feel bad at times, but you gotta stay positive. Understand how you fit in the bigger picture. That kind of relates to loving what you do, and including loving the company as well. But both of those things will kind of help you to understand how you make the company, how you continue to make the company keep rolling. It'll also, you don't want to feel like you're just in an aimless position. You know what I mean? You run into a bad time, and then all of a sudden you're like, I don't even know why I'm here. You need to understand what you're doing, how you contribute to the bigger picture, and understand that you are important. Even though you may not feel important, you are important, and you're there for a reason. And the last thing, like I just said earlier, is you gotta love what you do. If you don't love what you do, you shouldn't be doing it. Find something else or go do what you love. So.
Adam, can you hear us? No? Okay. So, well, one thing that bubbles up for me with this question, Michael, and then we're going to get to another question that we have from somebody, is that We've all felt defeated before. We've all felt like, oh my gosh, is anything ever going to change? And I can't get a job, and I've done all these internships, and, all of these things, can happen. And sometimes I'll just be very vulnerable right now. Sometimes what I do is I go hide. So sometimes I will go see a movie and escape. Or maybe I will go take a really long nap and I go hide for a little while. And as soon as I get that over, I don't like to muddle in the negativity that I may be feeling at the time. And so I have to start thinking about, what are my actions going to be? Because whatever I'm doing right now is not working. And whatever it is, I change and pivot and do something different with my actions. This is such a great question, because I think, Michael, what you're asking about, every single person has been there, and they've had those feelings of, is anything ever going to happen for me? And the answer is yes, but you have to be like a bulldog. And the only time that you ever loosen your bite is to get a better grip. That was one of the best compliments I've ever gotten from somebody that speaks about tenacity. And you just have to be super tenacious and not ever give up. Go see a movie, go hide, go lick your wounds, but then brush yourself off. And the next day, get back on that bicycle and do things differently. Now, there's another great link that Tika's putting up from Fast Company, and it's the 7 habits of highly persistent people. There's something about persistence. If you're kind of wired for that, you will be incredibly successful, because you won't ever give up, which means, you will have something is going to happen. Well, let's take this question. So this question is from Angeli Browse. I think I got that right. I'm new to my super interns internship. What tips do you all have for newbies to get the relationship started? Love this question. So, Chris, why don't you take it first? How to start a relationship?
Well, I know that when I first started my superinterns.com internship, I was relatively new to just starting relationships and starting conversations in general, to tell you the truth. The quickest and easiest way is just to, just be friendly, just introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Christopher Anderson. This is what I do. I just wanted to introduce myself. Just want to make myself available to you. And I hope you have a good day. And if they respond, that's great. If they don't, hey, that's a reflection of them. So, I mean, that's my easiest way of literally laying it out there. Just introduce yourself, be friendly.
Yeah. So, Michael, what about you? I mean, we have all these tools here at superinterns.com. So what would be a tool that you could use to actually get some FaceTime with somebody?
Well, definitely Skype. That's a big one. Always be open for communication with your fellow coworkers. Mm-hmm. Talk with them. Make the occasional tangent of some topic.
That's really good to have a conversation starter. And I think too, we have online schedulers here. So you can always, Adam, you're not giving up. Can you hear me?
Oh, I think I'm back.
Okay, good. You are back.
No,
so
I won't give up.
Talk about persistence. There we go. So just my perspective on answering this question, we have all these tools. One of the tools we have is everyone has an online scheduler. And I think it's always a great idea. If you want to get to know your HR people, then schedule time with them. Go right into their online scheduler. Schedule a half hour with them. Get to know them. Share some ideas you may have. Talk to them about problem solving. And just get to know them as human beings. And I think when we do that, when we come at everything from a personal conversation, that's a great way to go. Well, Adam, since you have been kind of on and off, we will let you take the next thing because we are coming down to the last 10 minutes of our show. So why don't we talk about timing and preparation? And probably everyone's heard of success is when opportunity meets preparation. And I am a big believer in setting your vision first. I always talk to everybody about making cupcakes. So I always say, what type of cupcake do you want? And when you know what flavor and what type of frosting and what type of format, you know, how it looks and, you know, sprinkles or whatever it is, when you know what that vision is, then you can go back and prepare yourself to get to the cupcake, which is creating a recipe, putting everything together, having everything in a very specific order. And I think that when you're there, when you have your radar on for opportunities in your internship, it is so easy to get to the cupcake. Because if you've got the strategy, if you're thinking to yourself, I want a job here, and you're starting to build the recipe to get there, you're going to employ all of the things that we've said today. All the things we've said are actually quite easy. Become friends with HR, prepare, do this with finding your ideal company, offer yourself as an intern, provide them an outline of your timing, your action, and your results, and give them an agreement, and then they will want you to work for them. So, Adam, what are your thoughts on timing and preparation?
Yeah, preparation is absolutely key. Really at any stage, whether you're trying to get your foot in the door and start with a company or whether you are looking for a promotion, realizing that the people on the other side, HR, we know what the company is about. We know what we do. We know what all the positions are. So someone tries to come in and, you know, talk their way through something that they don't really know, I can see right through it. I can tell if they haven't prepared. And someone who takes the time to prepare before, it says a lot about them that they care enough about the company to really learn about it. Because I want to hire people that I can have confidence in. Because when I hire someone, I put my name on the line, so their success is then tied to me. And if they're successful, I'm successful. And if someone comes in and they've shown that they can prepare for their initial interview, then I know when I give them a project or their supervisor gives them a project, they're going to prepare and they're going to, you know, meet or exceed expectations. So it's really all about instilling confidence in HR and the others in the company. And preparation is, I mean, the easiest thing to do, and it's the first step.
Wonderful. Adam, did you have any other questions for anybody? Because again, it's been a little while since you had a chance to chat. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I do. For Chris and Michael, how is timing and preparation either helped or hurt you in your career?
What I can say as far as preparation goes, I've bumped, like SJ likes to say, I've bumped my head quite a few times on this road called life. And I've had multiple jobs. I've had a few good jobs. I've had definitely some bad jobs. But what I can say is all of those jobs, including superinterns.com, which I consider that more of a job than an internship, because I put a lot of effort in there. All of those jobs helped me to create the person that is sitting before you. It helped to create the masterpiece that is on the camera right now. And I took little pieces of those jobs with me, and all of those skills have helped me to do what I do today and do what I do today well. So in essence, it's all been, I've just been preparing for the time that I'm living in now, and it just took one chance encounter for me to start putting it into use. So preparation plus opportunity definitely equals success in my book.
What about you, Michael?
Well, in general, preparation has helped me. Before every interview, I prepare answers to any questions I think I may encounter. Not only that, I also think about some questions to ask the interviewer. A lot of interviewers aren't looking for someone who just answers questions. They want someone they can have a conversation with.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. It's really true.
I love
Yeah, that's great. So did we have any other questions coming in? Teak, did you get any questions that maybe we missed? We've got about 4 minutes left on the show. So, no? Okay. Well, guys, any other thoughts or any last minute things that you want to share?
Failing to prepare is preparing to fail.
Yeah, that's very true. You know, Michael, you had shared something with me not too long ago where you said you learned when you were giving a speech, you hadn't really prepared for the speech, and it was a very painful lesson. Sometimes I think those lessons are much more powerful, you know, when we make them in a public format because we will never forget them, right? So what happened to you?
Well, it was one of my first speeches in speech class, and it was talk about myself. And I was like, oh, well, it's talking about me. I generally like me. I don't need to prepare for this. And I made a fool of myself.
Wah, 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 wah. Go ahead, Michael, finish.
That's about it for that. There was a lot of, and, well, but the bright side to that story is I learned to prepare for speeches and ended up becoming the best. I got the highest score in my class in speech.
Okay,
So,
cool. Yeah, so that was your learning.
Very nice, sir. Very nice.
That's fantastic. So, well, we are just about the end of our show, everybody. So interns and career seekers, I always want to know, what are you going to do to turn your internship into a full-time job? I hope you learned a lot today. And, you know, we all get stuck. So if you get stuck, it's okay. Reach out to us. You can go to superinterns.com, and we've got career coaching. So you just click on career coach. I get a career coach, and we'll help you there. I think we give you free 15 minutes or maybe even a half hour conversation about your career, and that can be very helpful. You can also get a virtual internship through us too by going to our website. And again, Teak is putting up the links here. Thank you so much, Teak, for doing that. So I'd like to thank my two co-hosts, Chris and Adam. Thank you so much for coming today. And Michael Connor, thanks for being in the spotlight. It's always good to, you know, have somebody that's kind of in the throes of what we're talking about to give your perspective to us. It's very helpful. And, you know, everybody, connect with my friends. They're all on Twitter, and they're also on LinkedIn. So Teak is going to put up the LinkedIn links for Christopher and Adam and Michael. And if you have opportunities where you want to chat with them or you want to ask them for opportunities, they're around. So definitely do that. Next week's show will be in the same place, the same time, and the topics next week is going to be stop going to school, professional students, and get a friggin' job. And we are going to be talking about professional students. We all know them. They're the people who are going to school. They get another degree and another degree and another degree, and they just don't get into the workforce. And we believe that that does not help them in their career. So if you're a professional student, you're going to want to come to this. Or if you have a friend that keeps on going back to school and they hide in school, let them know about this show. And if you're a parent, you're going to want to come to this show too, because we're going to give you some hot tips on how to get your kids out of the perpetual life circle of college. So everybody, oh, and if you're an educator, I also want educators to come too, because I'd love to scrapple with them a little bit. I'd love to, go head to head with a couple educators and, give them my thoughts. And, of course, I'm open, so I want to hear your thoughts too. All right, everybody, signing off from superinterns.com. Thank you so much and have a super day.